We've got Dave Stewart coming up right now.
Hello, everybody. This is Derek, and with me today is the only man who uses tree sap for deodorant, as it's the only thing strong enough to cover up that stench. Carl Mandrioli, how are you, my sappy little friend?
Not a bad idea if it wasn't sticky.
Well,
welcome to the Backpacking Bushes podcast, everybody. With me today is Derek Somerville. He's a man who once lost his map, then he found it. What a relief.
Oh, that was not one of your best ones. But again, we press on. We have do we call him the fly fishing goat in our world? Is that appropriate?
I don't know, because he does everything, man. He's a backpacker. He's done some crazy Alaskan wilderness trips. He uses napkins for maps. He's slept with the bears. He's done some crazy things. And so I would just kind of like call him an adventurer. What would you call him?
Is he like in the Survivor Man realm or not really? Is he like entry level Survivor Man realm?
In terms of what, like fame?
Of just no, not fame. I'm saying of just like the intensity of what he's doing. Like some of these trips we're gonna hear about today. Like, hey, we carried our raft, we had ice chests, we're like out in the middle of nowhere. We got to wear gloves to just all these crazy things we're gonna hear about.
Wait, you're trying to pump up the craziest of the story, and the two things you said is we got coolers and we got to wear gloves.
Exactly. I know.
That is amazing.
You're like, wait, what's that about? What are you talking about, Derek? I gotta hear more of this.
Like hook the audience with enticing stories. Coolers and gloves.
It's a curse and a gift.
It's so bad.
I could have led with like mosquitoes and shotguns. I could have done that too. That would have been better, probably.
If Derek starts titling our episodes, it'll be like, this one's about backpacking.
Let me give you a joke by Carl Mandrioli.
That's right. That's right. Okay, is he okay? I'm not gonna answer that question. I'm gonna let everybody else answer that question after they listen to this conversation we had with him.
Please.
The conversation and his stories are impressive. Possibly more impressive is the fact that you actually showed up to an interview, my friend.
Oh, here we go with the showed up to the interview. Yes, I am glad I made it. It has been a while.
Yeah, like months, I think, actually.
And it was pleasant. Today was very pleasant. He was very easy to talk to. Great gentleman. So
yeah, he's
we had him on
dude for sure. Yeah, happy to have him. Before we get to that, we got our Bible verse of the episode, Proverbs 17:12. Let a man meet a she-bear robbed of her cubs rather than a fool in his folly.
She-bear.
She-bear, that's like a mama.
Is that a hairy lady? What is that? What are we talking about? Okay.
That too. How would you handle an encounter with a bear cub if you didn't know where the mommy bear was?
Ooh, that is a gamble of gambles. I don't know what I do, really. That's a tricky one. It's like, is the bear cub in trouble? You'd feel like I kind of.
Why would the bear cub be in trouble? It's just like,
I don't know. Maybe like that is. Well, no. I mean, I've found like a sheep in trouble and I had to help him out. But this isn't a bear. This is the bear cub we're talking about, right?
Wait, no. What's the sheep story? What's the sheep story?
I was living in New Zealand. We were doing the Lord of the Rings scavenger trail, and we made it to. No, that'd be ridiculous.
Okay.
We made it to the sheep farm where they filmed and had the scenes for Saruman, the evil wizard's tower. So we're out there, and there's a sheep
they call it.
Isengard, thank you. And we were out there, and there was a sheep that had fallen and like hurt himself, and he had a bunch of junk on him. So we
did it fall into like one of the caves where they like made all the urukai?
It fell into shadow as per the movie. And I brought him out of the shadow. No, he like fell, he had all this dirt and mud, probably poop on him. So we like helped him up, cleaned him up. So if it's a bear cub in the forest, though, maybe here, I don't know. If he's just running around doing nothing and like foraging and being whatever, I'm just gonna let the circle of life do its thing. I'm not even gonna mess with that, because if I start hanging around a bear cub for too long, I feel like nothing good will come of that eventually.
Yeah, I don't know that your interpretation of this question is quite what I was.
You said what would I do if I was? Well, okay, please go ahead.
No. I mean, it's interesting. That's an interesting answer. So it sounds like you're like, just let it be.
For the most part, I mean, you don't know where the mom is, and you don't. I mean, these bears are so fast. They can just come out there and blindside you.
Right. That's why you get the heck out of there, man. You
right.
leave
I'm gonna
the area.
So I'm saying I'm going to be going on my way.
I
think even if I saw that's what I said. I said I'm going to let the circle of life do its thing, and I'm going to just carry on. So even if I saw an injured baby bear, I think I still carry on. I don't think I'm going to help.
We
What are you
got a
gonna do?
more intense bear story coming up from Dave here and more right now. With us today is the host of one of the top outdoor shows currently running, the Wet Fly Swing podcast, Dave Stewart. How's it going?
Amazing, guys. This is feels pretty spectacular to be on here with you two.
Is this like a dream come true? Like is this
pretty much?
This is the pinnacle. This is the pinnacle. This is it, right?
Yes. I mean, as far as backpacking,
he's the pinnacle.
As far as backpacking shows and and blisters and the focus you guys have, it's the top.
I like that. Was that like a? Did he say? Maybe I heard that wrong. Did you say like is this the pinnacle of blisters and backpacking?
Yes, that's what he said. Yeah,
all of it.
Good comprehension out the
all
gate.
of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure. So, for those who don't know, Dave, you invited me on your podcast. I was on back in November.
Yeah.
So you invited me on, but not Derek. So, first question I got for you is multiple choice. Did you not invite Derek because A, of his lack of credibility in the outdoor space, B, you thought he would verbally wreck the show, or C, you didn't trust him to show up?
Wow, those are tough choices.
Wow. Or you can create a D if you want.
There's no D.
Great D. All right. I would say all the above. Exactly. Yeah, all the above.
Wow.
That's the perfect answer.
Wow. When you hurt me, Carl, you hurt the show. You know what I mean? That's all there's to it. You know what I mean? Time and time again.
All right, Derek, what you got?
What do I got?
Yeah.
I'm going to jump right in with you here. So you've had a lot of interesting like adventures in the outdoors, Dave. Can you give us maybe like two of your best stories? Two of your favorites? Yeah.
Two of the favorite stories. I think one is I kind of go back to a couple and they revolve around the North Country, Alaska, BC. I've spent some time up there. And probably the biggest one was the encounter we had with the bears, where we had to hang out with the bears overnight. And basically
had to.
Yeah, we were forced to.
We're just hanging out with some bears overnight.
You loved it. You loved it.
It was actually kind of cool. It was actually we sat there with holding a shotgun next to us all night and huddled around the campfire.
That's great.
Okay. How are we getting to this point? Get back up here.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you get to holding a shotgun in bear country?
So basically what we did was we were up in Alaska in the middle of the Kuskokwim National Wildlife Refuge. It's 20 million acres. It's the peak of it's bear country. If you want to find a place where the majority of bears are, that's where we were. 3-hour jet boat ride from Bethel in the middle of Alaska, nowhere. And we were just camped up. We were fishing for salmon, and we had bears all around us. I mean, I literally had a bear at one point. I left my backpack on the bank, and I wasn't smart. I left some nuts in it, and I literally went around the corner, was fishing. I came back, and the bear took my entire backpack, and we never found it. So that's how many bears were around us.
He never just didn't like tear it up and like get to the
nuts. He took it. He literally took the whole backpack, and we searched around. But the tundra out there is kind of crazy. So that just gives you an idea. Bears around our campus surrounded by a bear fence. There's bears all around. So but what happened was we were down on heading out fishing. Our boat broke down like a ways from camp, and we had another boat that was back at camp. But since it was late in the evening, nobody could come get us, and we were stuck on this gravel bar. Yeah, and just bears were everywhere. But we pretty much sat there, got a big fire going. We had no food. And so we said, well, we got to get something. So we went down and plucked out a beautiful coho salmon out of the tail out below.
Yes.
Had the greatest tasting fish of mine. And still to this day, this was like years ago, still to this day, the best fish I've ever had. And cooked it over the campfire and just sat there taking turns. Like I said, I had the shotgun sitting there while Tyler was sleeping. Every hour or two, we'd switch it up and I would stay guard. And we just, it's one of those things where you're looking around, it's dark around you, there's bears all around, and we just sat there and we stayed awake. And
was the fish good because it was seasoned with fear?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. It was definitely, there was nothing put on this. We literally threw it on like tinfoil on the fire, and it was amazing.
Wow. Okay. So you didn't have any like sleeping bag or camping gear. You were just stuck overnight.
No need.
No, we had our waders. And I will say this, waders, Gore-Tex waders with your normal gear, it can be pretty comfy next to a campfire.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like a sleeping bag. Well, not just like, but we were toasty.
Carl wants to know how many ounces the shotgun weigh because it violates all ultralight backpacking laws.
Not pounds, but ounces, right?
Ounces and grams, actually. Grams, if you will.
I have no idea. All I know is here's what happened that trip. We started seeing so many bears that I just had the shotgun with the strap around my back the entire trip.
You're just ready to go. You were just ready
fly fishing. And we were fly fishing with the shotgun on the back. It was pretty amazing.
That makes sense.
And how many guys were stuck with you?
There was 4.
Okay.
Wow.
So here's how I'm imagining it went down. So, once you realize you're in a predicament, did you guys gather around? Maybe you seemed like a leader, so you probably had 4 straws, and you're like, whoever draws the short straw, you got first watch. Is that how that went down?
That's not.
Man,
they're not.
No, actually, I don't. Tyler is he's pretty much a stud as well. He knows he's good in the backcountry. And so he, and I don't remember how it went down, but we pretty much just agreed, hey, this is going to be the way it is, and let's just make the best of the night. And it it turned out it wasn't too bad. The guys came up in the morning, first thing in the morning, we heard the other jet boat come down and picked us up, and we did a little repair, and we were good to go.
Wow. What an adventure.
Derek, how would you have done it? What would you have done once you realize you're stuck in bear country, broken boat, no camping gear?
I mean, let's just start the fire, number one, obviously.
Okay.
So I don't know. Let's play some music and keep them away. I don't know. What are you going to do, Carl? Sing?
I'd be trying to wake you up because it'd be like, hey, Derek, it's your turn to hold the shotgun. And you'd be like, just stop bothering me. Stop bothering me.
I'm just going to get out the banjo and just lull these bears to sleep. That's what I'm going to do. Is it hard to put a bear to sleep? I mean, how hard can it,
Not the ones that are tired from carrying a backpack around all day.
There's a first time for everything, Carl, and I'm gonna prove it.
There's first time. Okay, so you've been around, man. You've been like remote Alaska. You brought your own bear fence with you. You got multiple boats, remote salmon fishing. I'm imagining this is like in a spot where bears are like digging the salmon out of the river, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not quite. I mean, there's some places. There's known places around Alaska that you can go and view bears. Right, go up to the these famous places up in. This was not that. We were in the middle of remote. Nobody was. Very few people were. We didn't see anybody. In fact, for a couple of weeks there. But nice. Yeah, it was the time. It was like I said, 20 million acres of bears just roaming the country, and it was actually pretty amazing. The mosquitoes. That was the other thing they say, right? Bears and mosquitoes and bears and bugs. I will tell you, we got torched by bugs, man. I
really
the entire trip, face mask, gloves. If I took my glove off literally for a minute, my hand was swollen up with mosquitoes.
Oh,
so
that is.
Did you try anything like those devices that kind of create that radius around your camp, like thermocell or anything like that?
We had some of that, but we pretty much it was so bad. You had to have the nets.
You're stuck.
And then we did have tents. So once you got back, we were sealed up the tent. But yeah, when you're out fishing, and it was pretty hardcore.
Jeez.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Could we do that, Carl? Would you wear gloves on your trip? We're thinking about going over there
in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got some head nets. I bring all that stuff for sure. I just was curious because ever since I started bringing the thermocell, it's not Alaska mosquitoes, so I don't know how they would hold up in that situation. But here locally, we've had some pretty bad stuff, and it sends them away. Like it definitely creates a radius in the Rocky Mountains where people that are outside the radius, like they're getting bitten. People inside are not. But again, it's not Alaska, so that's why I was curious if that worked at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, more aggressive.
I think again, this is a little bit ago, so this story is from maybe even before the tech is at its level that it's at now.
Yeah, it's probably better now. That's true.
Yeah,
I think those mosquitoes suck a lot more bear blood, so they're more aggressive. Carl, is the word.
You think so? You think the bear blood gives them more aggressiveness?
Power. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, I think we just bring both. Yeah.
White Sox. Have you guys ever heard of the White Sox up there? That's
do tell.
Yeah. So you have mosquitoes. Check.
Right.
You have no-see-ums. Check.
Right.
No-see-ums are nasty, and then they have these White Sox, which are essentially like they look like little flies, and they take chunks out of your flesh.
Oh.
Okay,
that's lovely.
So that's the final. That's like the 3. That's the perfect trifecta.
That's so lovely.
And do they typically migrate around water sources, or just wherever you go, you're just gonna get them?
I think it's mostly water, but up there it seems like they're everywhere. I mean, you can't, because of the tundra, you're pretty much around water. It's not like you're hiking off through the tundra too far.
Wow. Okay, that's intense. I think you got Carl second guessing our Alaska trip.
but I've been to Alaska. Let me just say, Alaska, it could be awesome too. There are places where it's not just bad.
There's some cool places too. You know,
we have this Alaska trip planned, and we keep on
bugs.
kicking the can down the road. I don't know that we're ever going to make it there. So we'll see.
Flesh-eating bugs all around, but no big deal.
Yeah.
Have you guys? You have the location yet? Where you're going?
I've researched it multiple times. With it. Yeah, the people that we want to go with, Derek included here, live life with the narrowest margins. So if you're talking about fly there, take a bus, or get a ride somewhere else, then take a bush plane somewhere else, the chances of like hitting all of those targets both on the way in and on the way out are 0. So we haven't figured out how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So, okay. That's story number 1. You got another story. We're looking for your best stories. You have so much experience in the outdoors. So what's number 2? What you got?
So number 2, I think, is similar, but maybe even better. And this one is the Canadian story up on the Skeena Basin, northern Canada. And we were going into a remote canyon, and we've done this trip, a few times, but this time we were going into this remote river canyon, and essentially it was, it's the Babine Canyon. It's this famous canyon for most of the people that have a lot of money are helicoptering into these couple lodges that are up in the canyon. We were floating past the lodges in our rafts down through this canyon, which pretty much nobody does. And it's not like I'm a super expert whitewater, boatsman or whatever, but I've done some whitewater. We took this canyon and it was intense. And
are you in like a river raft or what do you got?
Yeah. We had like a pontoon, like a 12 foot, I think it was like a 13-foot pontoon boat. So that was one boat. And then we had a little smaller, I think about 11-foot raft, and we had all of our gear for 10 days. So 4 guys, same thing, 4 guys, different guys, 10 days into this canyon. And I remember
before you go further, sorry to interrupt you. Are you loaded down with like heavy duty coolers?
We have 2 coolers.
Yes, here we go.
Okay.
I know where he's going with this.
Like metal coolers.
No metal coolers. No, these are normal coolers.
Not metal.
Yeah, okay, nice try. I know where you're going with this.
We'll circle back to that later. Okay,
yeah,
sorry. All right, keep going.
In fact, and I will say at the upper part of this canyon, there are a lot of bears in this area too. We saw lots of bears. We were around them, going through the woods, hey bear, doing all that stuff, keeping them away.
Okay.
But once we got in the canyon, we didn't see any bears down there. But so, but we asked the guy, this was in Canada, and we asked this local guy we ran into through some, wherever, and he basically wrote us on the back of a napkin kind of a couple places where to go on these rapids. One of them was stay right or die. One of them was like the Boulder Garden, and everything he said, like the Boulder Garden, he says, oh yeah, this is just like a little class 2+ rapid. We got into it and it was technical 3+. And it was, we were like holding on for life, like canyon wall. One spot was so tight, we literally it barely fit our boat throh the canyon wall. That's how tight the water got put into the slot. So it was really the lucky thing on the trip was the water was a little bit lower. So if it would have been at a higher level, we would have really been in trouble probably. But we managed to make it through, and it was just intense.
Wait, I want to know more about the napkin here. So you said he wrote some notes on the napkin. So he wasn't like drawing arrows and things. It was just like when you see like the rock that's shaped like a face, hang a right, or how did that go?
Pretty much, yeah. He described the Boulder Garden, like this place where when you enter it, you're going to see these giant whatever truck boulders, and we generally had some. This wasn't like back in Onyx. I don't even think that was maybe even not around. So right now it'd be a lot easier. But he's giving us some landmarks, and we had a map, so he was kind of saying roughly here, and we're in the canyon. So we kind of knew generally, but again, once you're in it, it was just totally different than what we thought.
Right. Usually is.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So Derek, if I was the guy in charge and I hold out a map that I just got from a local that kind of wrote some like notes to me, and I said, all right, so I got our directions. Like, we can't go wrong with this, right? What would you say, Derek?
I mean, if you're the guy in charge on a whitewater rafting trip, that's my bad. That's my bad. So
wait, you think you should be in charge? Are you serious?
I don't know. I rafted down the Grand Canyon. Does that count?
Wow.
Did you almost get killed by coolers? Did you?
Yes, I did. I know.
Okay,
you want to mention
and
I want to hear that story.
But I survived.
You feel like that is trustworthy. Like, you want to get the guy who can get killed by coolers.
Anybody can get killed by metal coolers. Number 1. Number 2, I survived.
I don't think so.
I have been seasoned, as Dave will tell you. I've been seasoned. So
yeah,
there you go.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, tell.
Have you guys? I've messed this way. Have you guys told that story on your podcast?
We have, but not for a while. We like to retell
what
stories.
episode was it? Because I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh, that's asking too much.
It just kind of comes out whenever Derek needs to be home.
I mean, I can recap the basic if you want a basic
Let's
recap.
It
was we were on the Colorado 8-day trip, and we had a boat, 4 pontoons, and so I was probably like 15, right? So we're approaching this like, it was like a level, I don't know, the biggest level there was on the Grand Canyon. It was something ridiculous. It's called Lava Rapids.
Oh, Lava, of course.
Yeah, and so I
have already. Is that a real thing, Dave? Because I thought he was just making it up.
I've done a whole series on.
Thank you, Dave.
Whitewater. So Pete McBride we had on, who told the whole story. It's an amazing story about the Grand Canyon. Yeah, but keep going.
It's it's a crazy river. So we had just in like Rapid 209, and I almost flew off the boat, and so I'm like, you know what, this one's coming. I'm gonna go sit back here by the coolers with Grandma in the middle of the boat. I'll be fine. You know, if Grandma can do it, I can do it. So I'm back there, and up and down we go. We're going up and down this crazy lava rapids, and it bucks me off of my seat in between. We had a walkway with 2 rows of huge metal coolers for everybody, because it's like a trip with like, I don't know, 50, 60 people. And so I fall in there, and as I fall in, I'm so rattled, I immediately jump out and get back on my seat. And as I get out, the boat folded, and like those coolers like snapped together. And I'm like, you know, as a 15-year-old, you're like, wow, that was a close one. So
right.
You're lucky to have me here, Carl, and yet you mock.
They were thinking about making a movie about that exact scene, and so I'm rooting for you.
It's called Cooler Boy. It's great. Yeah. It's nice.
Wow.
All right. So, Dave, I got a scenario for you that kind of relates to the napkin story, because it sounds like you're willing to trust the locals to try to get some intel. It worked out for you in the end, but it put you in some pretty precarious situations, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the themes that we've shared on our show more than once is anytime you hear the phrase shortcut, like avoid it like the plague.
True.
Right? Okay, and so it always ends badly. But last summer we were in Banff, and Derek and another guy were highly motivated to make a flight. We're running behind. We're out of cell range. We can't get like service for our navigation. And we were with 2 locals. And we could go the main like scenic what is it called? The Icefields Parkway Road, which kind of takes you back into town. Or there's like a kind of like avoid all the traffic and go around, kind of reroute you. You're going to skip past all the traffic. They say it's about the same distance, but it's going to be way faster because you're going to skip the traffic. But I had done the Icefields Parkway loop, so I knew what the traffic was, and it was like doable. But the locals are saying go around. You'll get to your airport way, way faster. Dave, what do you do in that situation?
Man, I usually take the shortcut. That's typically what I do, but I've been getting screwed lately. So I think right now, knowing what's been happening to me, I just stick with the normal route, and I'd just deal with it.
And he would hit the traffic and be upset. You know what I mean?
So you have the scenery, you'd have the traffic, but it was like a 3-hour drive with the traffic to the airport on the Icefields Parkway. And then it was like 30 to 40 minutes to cell range, and then we could determine how far it was. And so we drove, and they were right. There wasn't any traffic. But after driving for 30 to 40 minutes, we were able to navigate, and it said 3 hours from there. So it ended up being 30 to 40 minutes longer as a result. So we didn't follow our own advice, basically. So anyway, let's get back to some of your experiences here. So you're not afraid to bring your whole family along on your adventures.
Yeah.
So can you just break down, like, how old are your kids, and like, can you share a recent, like, I think you were telling me about a recent adventure you had that kind of ended in a very unusual sort of way.
Yeah. We had another, and as you can see the story here, we do a lot of hiking and backpacking, but a lot of river trips too. And sometimes we mix them together. So we had a recent deer hunting trip. You know, I don't do a ton of hunting, but I have been deer hunting since I was a little kid, pretty much my whole life. And we do this river trip where we float the river, again, do some whitewater, and then we stop halfway, and then we hunt. And we deer hunt,
right?
And it was pretty cool because my kids are 8 and actually 8. They're almost soon to be 10 and 12, and so they're 9 and 11 right now. But last year they went on this deer trip with us for the first time. They've been down this area for the first time with the deer trip, you know, and Megan, you know, my wife was there, and it was this trip where we were like, okay, what do we do with the kids? You know, they're on this river, this giant river. This is a massive 5,000 CFS river, you know, and so we're like, well, let's take them up the first day. So we literally take them up hunting with us the first day. And this isn't just hunting like walk out the back door. We're hiking up 2,000 foot, mountains and stuff, right up and down and hike. We're we're putting miles in. This is tough. This is like Eastern Oregon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Lots of mountains and stuff. And so anyways, we get up there. The first day was kind of fun. I put a hunt on, had some fun, but we didn't get any deer the first day. The next day we're like, hey, that didn't work that well. The kids kind of, it wasn't the easiest thing with the kids. So we said, you know what, you kids stay at camp today, hang out camp. We left the kids all day, and we ended up being all day because we got deer. I shot a really nice buck. We ended up packing it down. Yeah. The kids came up, we had this whole thing. So that was cool. And then Megan, who hadn't got a deer in her life at this point, was using this great rifle, this old rifle my dad gave me. And she just made the shot, which is, it's even hard to believe how far it was. And all the stories came together, and she got this buck. It was her first buck ever. And it was just like that, and we carried it down and did the whole thing, and the kids were involved, and we got back at camp and we celebrated. And, the one thing about the whole trip was my buck was so big, we carry it back on the oar of the drift boat, right? So when we get back to camp, we have about a mile to hike the deer back to camp. So she put the deer, so I put the oar up on my shoulder, she had up, and the deer was hanging, this 200-pound deer in the middle. It was so heavy that she didn't know at the time. She basically tore her rotator cuff, which was the bummer of the whole thing. She's still
so like the oar dug into her shoulder to tear it, or
wow, yeah, it tore, it ripped. So she's been going through, but that's the only negative of the whole thing. Other than that, unbelievable trip. The kids survived. They hung out at camp all day. They, it's just one of those things, and and so that's my goal, to get the kids involved in all the stuff we do. So the fact that they were there was pretty amazing for us.
Wow. Sounds like a fun trip.
Is she doing okay?
Yeah, she's going through like physical therapy and stuff. It hasn't been. It's right. And the crazy thing is that it's one of those things. Like, I've done this trip with the guys many years, and we've done that. How many times we've done that? And I didn't think I should have, in my own retrospect, been like, well, maybe Megan should be carrying a 200-pound deer. So she's
got a cool story. She's got a cool story.
She didn't
hurt your shoulder, shot a deer.
So just to kind of like my main takeaway from this is, if you put too much weight on your shoulders, then you can have a serious injury, right, Derek?
Carl has a lot of shoulder issues. He tried to carry like a raccoon, and it broke his shoulder one time. So he's got some issues.
My shoulder. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you can sidestep if you want to.
That's what the doctor
sounds like. We have evidence right now. So
doctor reports are doctor reports. That's all I know. So that is what it is. So
okay.
Well, lesson learned for Megan then, I guess. But that's cool.
What's the lesson? Like, don't carry a deer with an oar?
No, I mean, like, it's obviously, you hurt your shoulder, but like that's something she'll never forget, that experience, with Dad. So
yeah, but what's the lesson? You said lesson learned. What do you got? What's the theme here?
Don't put a 200-pound deer on your shoulder.
Yeah,
Carl. Right. And for you, Carl, don't put a raccoon on your shoulder or a mouse. Too heavy.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to know about the fly fishing. So you're like the Mr. Expert with the fly fishing, right? You've talked to a lot of experts in that.
Mr. Expert.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I'm called. Mr.
Right?
Expert is
Mr. Expert. They call him the fly and the fish.
That's how I start my podcast every episode just like that. This is Mr. Expert Dave.
I heard your nickname is like the old man in the river instead of the sea. This is river. Is that something like that? Okay, so I just wonder, like, what are your 3 best tips for those people like let's say me, like, looking to get into fly fishing, or if you're like a seasoned pro like Carl, and you need some more tips for something like that.
Yeah, love this. So the easiest tips, and again, I think the first one I'll start with is the KISS method. Have you guys heard of the KISS method?
In junior high? This is when I first
right, no. Not that one, right? No.
Okay.
Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
Keep it simple. I should use this for Carl's life. This is great. And let me write that down.
Keep it simple. There's other ways to say it, but basically
keep it simple, stupid.
The KISS method. People think fly fishing is way more difficult than it is, right? All this stuff they think they have to get, all these rods and all this money and all this stuff. But it's really, you can break it down, and it isn't that difficult, right? You literally still need a fishing rod, right? Just like any conventional fishing. You need a fly line, you need leader, and you need some flies. You're essentially kind of matching the hatch with bugs and things like that, right? So I like to say it because it's not as difficult to get into it. So that's the first thing, is just go out there. You could pretty much these days, the rods and all the quality are so high quality, you can buy a rod anywhere and it's probably going to be good for you for the most part. So just keep it simple, get the basics. The other tip I would give is,
wait. Let's start with the first one. So we say you can get a rod anywhere, like would you trust
Walmart?
A garage sale?
Talking Walmart? Garage
No, I'm talking
sale.
about
Yeah.
better than that garage sale.
Walmart would be pushing a little bit because you do have to balance your fly line. That's the one thing, right? Your fly line to
There you
your
go.
rod. So you want to make sure you have your rod in balance. But if you go to Walmart, any sports store, they're going to have a fly rod that will work,
Okay.
because and they have packages too that come with the rod, reel, line, and they're all, and they're
There
fine.
you go. Okay.
So, and it's not that much money either, right? You can get these packages for like, a little over $100, $200, right? It's not that bad to get it ready to go. And you don't need waders and boots and boats and all this stuff. You can literally get out there with just some basics and get going.
So you don't need the shotgun to do fly fishing, you're saying?
No, you don't need the shotgun.
Okay.
That's an option though. It's an option.
No. Yeah, you don't need the $20,000 boat. You don't need the whatever it is. It really you can go right out to your local pond, find some crappie. I can give you a podcast episode I did with somebody who's a crappie expert, and you'll be catching crappie left and right.
Crappie. I have gone once in Missouri, Oklahoma, and we did some trout. And
there you go.
I was 10 and 2 in it all day, Dave.
10 and 2. That's my next tip. You've been reading my notes. That's my next tip for you. 10 and 2.
Okay, what does 10 and 2 mean?
Well, it's actually not 10 and 2, but 10 and 2 is a casting. It's like The River Runs Through It, right? The greatest fly fishing movie of all time, right? You guys have seen this movie?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's where Montana is summertime all year round, right?
Yeah, Robert Redford, the great, the great movies. It's the movie of fly fishing. We joke about it. There's never been a greater fly fishing, but he talks about the 10 and 2, right? So your arm, you go back, it's 10 to 2. 10. This is where you stop. So you're not, it controls your cast, but we won't get into that today. The point is to answer the tip number 2 is basically get a guide, get some help, don't try to do this on your own. That's the bottom line. If you go out there and try to teach yourself to cast, you could do it, but it's going to take you a long time. You're going to struggle.
Right.
Instead of doing that, if you have some money, go get a guide. There's guys that can get you on the water, get you into fish. The sooner you're getting into catching fish, the better. Not everybody can afford a guide right away. Sometimes that might cost $200, $300, $400, $500 or something like that for a day trip. If they can't do that, that's fine. There's other groups out there that can also help that are guides in those groups that can help you out. So my point is that get some help. Don't try to do this on your own. There's local fly shops around the area, around a lot of our places in the country and things like that. But so that's tip number 2. Get some help.
Okay.
I say get a guide to make it easy, because if you do get a guide, that's gonna, lower your learning curve quite a bit, flatten that thing.
Would you consider Derek, who's been before, a sufficient guide for somebody the first time? He knows the 10 and 2 method. He's not going to charge $300 or $400. He probably charge like $10. Would you trust Derek?
For you? No.
Sure.
You're getting charged $100 easy.
Okay, sorry.
I would say no, I'm not sufficient. I'm gonna just help Dave out here. I've only been once. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably need to refresh myself. Did you catch a fish? I caught 2 trout. I did.
There you go, man. On your first trip.
Yeah, my first trip. Well, I had a good. My ex-wife's father was, he'd done it. They do it. They know how to do it. So they brought me out.
So there's your guide. So there's your guide.
Gave me all So you had a guide.
Okay,
that's good.
That's it.
All right. River Runs Through It question. So there's a scene in the movie where they steal a boat and then they go down some rapids. Was that similar to the Napkin trip?
Oh man. Wow. Yes. That was so similar. Okay. I mean, I'm going to watch that again because that's exactly what happened.
The reenacting.
Okay, it sounds like with the rock garden or whatever, the boulder garden.
Oh, yeah. It was good.
Okay. But your boat wasn't stolen, right? So that's the difference.
Oh, that's right. It was a stolen boat. No, ours wasn't stolen.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. Wow. So you got 2 tips, top 2 tips. Good so far. All right. What's tip number 3?
So tip number 3, I'm just going to stick with the power of observation. And this is a great one. So once you get going, once you, get your cast in, you get your guide, you get your help, they get you doing the 10 and 2 and you're casting like you did, right? One day you're out there casting good enough to catch fish. The next thing is to slow down and step back and observe. So a lot of people get out there and they just run into the water and they just start casting, right away. So instead of doing that, as you're getting out of your car, as you're approaching the water, start observing what's going on. Look for hatches, look for fish feeding as you get to the water. Just step back, and because sometimes the fish are literally right off the bank. They might be, right off an intercut bank, and you want to be able to sneak up on those fish. So observation is really key. I've heard that. And again, these tips have come from, we've done hundreds of episodes, some of the best. These are the things they've said. Just observe. Along with that is journaling, having a journal or having something to take notes, because if you're doing something on that day of fishing, it's probably going to help you again, if not the next year, the same time a hatch is coming off. So that's the other big one is observation. Another little bonus, I guess it goes with the guiding, is the casting. Just practicing, just like anything, right? You need to practice your cast. It's not just, don't expect you're going to go out there on the river, learn to cast while you're catching fish. Get in your yard, get your new fly rod, and you can actually put a piece of yarn on your rod and practice casting in your yard on grass.
There you go, Carl.
In a field.
Do the neighbors think you're weird if you do that?
Probably.
No, they love it. They love it.
Who cares?
Okay.
They probably want to join you.
They love watching you cast in the backyard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you do that, Derek? Would you cast in the backyard if you?
I do cast 3 times a week.
I apologize.
Actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
There you go.
10 and 2.
10
and 2.
If you show up, let's say you're the guy, and I show up, and I got a coffee can full of worms ready to go. What's the kind of a standard reaction?
Oh wow. Yeah.
Eye roll.
That would be rough.
Okay.
The guides have seen everything though, man. I mean, I've interviewed, hundreds of guides, and they've told all sorts of crazy stories. I mean, that stuff's all happened.
Okay. So what stands out to you as like a weird circumstance, unexpected person worse than me showing up? What's going on?
I think one of the worst things that happens on a guide trip, and I've heard this a lot, is that when you're guiding somebody, like that person's paid money to be on the guide's boat, and then the guide tells them to do something, and they're like, "Nah, I'm going to do this." Like that pisses guides off more than anything. Like you're paying somebody to do something, and you don't even listen to the actual guide. So
Carl has experience with that. Yeah,
I do. I have
well, he got blacklisted from a trail for not following the bear canister rules.
Oh,
doesn't relate to what you just said. Literally doesn't relate to what you said.
Well, I'm just saying you broke rules and you did your own thing anyway.
He's not talking about rules or regulations. He's talking about guide advice.
I'm just saying the guide at the park suggested you carry a bear box, and you're like, I'm gonna do my own thing because I don't run into bears. I'm better than you
whatsoever.
And you got blacklisted. So
nice.
It is what it is.
We're gonna talk about comprehension after this, but that's rough.
We're gonna talk about following rules. That's a great. That's a good example. Excellent, Dave.
Okay. All right. So Dave, so you've been kind of sprinkling, like guests from your podcast, topics from your podcast. All right. So this is your opportunity. So tell us about your show. Yeah. Where can we find it? What have you got coming up? What can we look forward to? Just anything you got for us.
Yeah. So Wet Fly Swing, the Wet Fly Swing podcast, you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. Just go to wetflyswing.com. That's the best place. And if you want, I have an episode I made specifically for kind of this intro, what we're talking about here. So wetflyswing.com/backpacking and blisters.
Get
you
that.
So they can go to that right now. And if you want to put that in the show notes,
we're honored. Thank you.
Yeah, they can listen to that, and there'll be a little blog or a little episode they can click play and listen to it right there. And I go into details more on this intro stuff I talked about, so they can get a little more depth there. So that's where they can go. Nice. As far as episodes, I've got over 600 episodes now. So I've interviewed everybody from, the Fonz from Happy Days, who's a fly angler.
Wow. Nice.
To Yvonne Chenard, the founder of Patagonia, which was another milestone for me, and all sorts of great people in between.
Those are big time guests, man. That's big time stuff.
Because Dave's big time, Carl. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. But I just, the Fonz has to be a nice guy, right?
Oh man, he's amazing.
Winkler? Come on.
Oh,
he was a legend.
He was a legend. Yeah, he was a legend.
Hey, right?
Yeah.
I mean, did he?
He didn't give me that. I didn't ask him. That's
you didn't get the A?
Oh. No, I was prepping it though. The whole months before the episode went live. You could hear it months before the episode went live on my intros. I was doing the A myself to probably not even tell anybody. So
he's probably so burned out on doing that. He's like, I don't do that anymore.
Yes, I will say. Let me just give you the thing that he said that I thought was so epic. Was I asked him because he loves fly fishing, and I was like, man, and we were doing right here, and I said, why don't you just retire from what you're doing? You love fly fishing, just fly fish the rest of your life. You love it so much. He looked at me. He's like, man, why would I quit why would I quit what I'm doing right now? I'm at the top of my game. I just got an Emmy for Barry, right? That show on that he just writes. So I didn't realize at the time. I knew about Barry, but I didn't realize how. I mean, literally, he's 70 something years old, and he is
right,
and still going.
Like, I'm loving it. It basically said the thing that we all like to hear. He loves it so much, he's never going to quit.
Yeah. But this is a whole different topic. But I feel like guys that do that, like, I'm just going to retire and fish. I'm going to retire and play golf. If that's your retirement plan, like that's not sufficient in my opinion. No. The guys that I've seen do that come right back to work, and they just, like you can do that a lot or more, but to do that like 100% of the time, I don't know. I don't know if that's what you want to do the last few years. Just saying. gotta have a better plan than that.
Yeah,
Life advice, Carl Mandrelli.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, for free. For free.
For free.
Okay. All right. So the link that you shared, I'll have that in our show description, and we'll have that so you can click on that. And so basically what you're saying is like that's going to be like a great intro episode for people that are looking to kind of dig into this, correct?
Yeah. Yep. And I'm going to be
Nice.
putting some more information there, but that's a quick, easy one. They can take a little bit further. And yeah, and we got a nice little, in that episode, there's a little 5 tips from one of the experts of all experts that's on there that gives his 5 tips on getting
Oh,
started.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not just my bonus, but it's a good little summary.
Good.
This is why you're the best, man. You're prepared. You kind of knew what to expect, and you got an avenue for folks that want to get more into it. So really appreciate the confidence there.
I want to impress you guys and do my best.
Impression made. Impression made.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
That's good. Thanks,
so
man.
we're going to have Dave back on since he's a podcaster. So we're going to lean on him a little bit more in the future. This is just kind of like an intro to get to know him and just kind of, his experience and stories. And hopefully you got a sense that he has been on some very interesting adventures. And Dave, it's been an honor, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work. I love what you have going out there, and excited to keep in touch with you.
Likewise, thank you. Thank you. What did you think of Dave? What did you think of the fly fishing goat / bear adventure?
Yeah, I think my favorite part was definitely the napkin story. Like trusting the local with a napkin, right?
I felt like you were a little disappointed there was not an actual map on it though. Like
I think if I was there, I would have been like, these directions are great with your pencil on the napkin, kind of making holes in the napkin. But can you draw a little picture for me?
I need arrows and lines and rivers.
And I want like drawings, like, of what some of the rocks look like or whatever. Wouldn't you want that?
I would get you more lost if I did something like that. So maybe the guy knew he was a bad artist and just gave him the, description instead.
Right.
So sorry that.
So he didn't. So I started out the gate. I was kind of poking fun at you because I was on a show and you were not. And he didn't really answer that question about why he didn't invite you. Did you feel slighted a little bit?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Okay.
I think I trust his discretion more than yours, and I'm sure he had a good reason. So
his discretion of not inviting you.
Maybe he wasn't ready for me. You know what I mean? Maybe he wasn't ready.
So bad. Oh my gosh. I trust his discretion not to invite me on the show. That's so embarrassing.
That's just mature people talking mature things. You're not ready for that yet. You're
right.
You're not there yet.
Can't handle it. Okay.
You're not there yet.
You still get maturity there. I feel like you misled the audience a little bit with one of the.
Did I?
Yeah. I think
what? What are you talking about?
So he starts talking about the KISS method. And he's like, you know what that is? And you're like, well, that's in junior high. Back in like nobody's kissing you in junior high. Get out of here.
Okay, it was high school. That's to be fair. No, actually, there was a girl who kissed me on the cheek first grade. So maybe I'm the expert. I don't know.
Okay, and just to clarify, do you think that first grade is junior high?
I'm saying that no, I don't like the way you phrase that question. First of all, let's rephrase it. Let's do it a different way. Right. You're better than that.
What do you want to say? Say what you want to say. Just
I'm saying that it was more of a reference to be funny. Kiss message is when junior high school is when you maybe have your first kiss. So, I know
you're not trying to false advertise.
False advertise? What are you talking about? Me
kissing in junior high? One of the cool guys and girls are kissing you in junior high.
I was not a cool guy. No, I was definitely not a cool guy.
Okay,
definitely not. I think your first kiss was what, 38, 9, something like that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're gonna move on. Yeah, we'll work on it. Okay. No, the kiss, the help be, what was it? Keep it simple, keep it stupid simple. I thought that was great. I thought, because
it's simple.
I was going to say, you have that guy in your life. He still helps you, tie your shoes and tie your jacket. Like you could have him help you with fly fishing, probably.
That would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? I think, in all seriousness, if you are interested, he is a great resource. We'll have the link, like we mentioned in the show description, but he's got a ton of stuff to check out. And he gave some helpful tips. I think that kind of like a little sampler of what's to come if you're looking to kind of up your backcountry game.
Yeah. This is the guy you want to follow and listen to if you're going to be getting into fly fishing.
He's got some great guests on. I didn't realize, I've kind of cycled back through some of his episodes and he's got so many, it's hard to go way back in the archives, but I want to check out the one with Henry Winkler. I'm a fan of his. I like him.
Oh, who doesn't like the Fonz? So wait, you've never been? What? Go. Name 3 movies Henry Winkler's in. Is that what you're saying?
Give me one movie, that he's in that you like.
Waterboy.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm done. Give me another one.
I like him in Holes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was in that movie.
Yeah,
that's
he's in
crazy.
A ton of stuff, man. Yeah, Holes is good. Yeah.
So have you never?
Go ahead.
I'm bringing it back. Did you never fly fish? You've never flown fish? Flown fish? Fly fish.
Flown fish. No, but I have watched A River Runs Through It, so I feel like I could kind of hold my own a little bit there.
Oh, really? Okay. So if I
was making reference. I think I was making reference to the movie that he wasn't even getting because I think I've probably seen it more recently than him.
Well, to be fair to him, it's like what, over a 20-year-old movie or something?
Yeah, it's like 30. You're right.
Okay, so
right.
there you go.
But it's
good.
But it's like one of those that people watch over and over again, especially in the fishing world. And so, yeah,
is it? Because you're a big fly fisher, you would know. Is it that is a movie people watch over and over again? Spouting nonsense as usual, folks, and making us feel dumb for it. Exactly.
Okay, so what's your hypothesis that people don't watch it over and over again that like to fish?
I think there's a certain group of people who have a cult following. It's like a lot of movies. Like I've seen Back to the Future over and over, but it's not like I watch it every year.
Do you want to time travel?
Who doesn't want to time travel?
Exactly. So that's why you watch it over and over again. There you go.
Anyway.
Okay.
I don't know if you'd be a good fly fisher, so I think it's probably best you stick with hiking.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if that's my future. We'll see. Maybe when kids are out of the house, we'll see. But for now, what's that?
Yeah. No, please go ahead.
We're having a hard time interrupting each other.
We're interrupting. You keep saying things that make me want to say more things. So it made me think of I'm going to say it. So I was going to say, he said they had 4 guys and they had all that gear, right? The big 13, was it a 13-foot pontoon boat?
I don't know.
I should have asked him how much that weighed. Like they carried that thing around? Or did they have it did they plan it where they were going to like jump in the water? Like what did they do?
Are you talking about the one with the bears or the one where he goes down the river?
Well, usually use a boat for the river. So
but you're asking how it got to wherever they put in.
Yeah,
right?
Did they trek it? I mean, what did they do with it? They didn't like hike.
I don't think they
trekked
it. I have a feeling it got flown in or driven into the to some segment or who knows. That actually would be a good question to ask him.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because I'm like that thing had to weigh a lot, right?
Right.
So
yeah, anyway. When you're talking about like a heavy duty boat, I don't think you're carrying that in. But don't you think that like getting back to my scenario where you're stuck, and I know that when you're stuck, you have bears around, like you are going to be one of the guys that actually does, like I joked about you sleeping, but you actually would be one of the guys that rises to the occasion. Yeah. Don't you think we gather our crew around and we it might be even a little bit like serious and intense. We're like, all right, here's the plan. Like almost,
I think our group will rise to that occasion, especially if you're in an area like he is, where he's like, we were just surrounded by bears. If you know,
I don't think we're just like, you keep fishing and I'll hold the gun. Like, I feel like we'd have a plan. Like, here's how we're gonna do it. You got first watch. No, we're never all sleeping at the same time. Like, I feel like there'd be something like that, right?
I think there would be a conversation around the fire. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think that'd be wise.
We'll circle back to that. I think it's an interesting conversation.
That is interesting.
So we're in a season now. We're going to start throwing some gear at folks. We're transitioning now. We're going to try to work in one review every episode or two. And so I recently got a chance to try out a new backpack.
Oh boy. I feel like, how many backpacks have you tried out this year?
What's wrong with it? What is
You've tried out so many backpacks.
Yeah, I think there's people are looking for different types of backpacks for different trips. So I tried out the Air Contact Core by Deuter. They make a 50-liter plus 10 when you kind of like expand out like every part of it and so on and so forth. So we're gonna talk about this. Okay,
let's hear it.
Are you a fan of Deuter, first of all?
I don't not like Deuter. I don't have a lot of other. I don't think I have any other stuff.
Have you tried their stuff? The only thing I can think of is like I used a lot of Deuter gear with like the kid carriers back in the day. Did you ever have like a Deuter kid carrier pack?
I had a kid carrier pack. I want to say it was Deuter. I think I brought it on the llama trip that we went on years ago.
They make kind of the high, like them and Osprey are the two kid carrier pack.
It probably was Deuter
when I last checked.
We borrowed it, so I don't know. It might have been Deuter. I don't remember.
All right. Okay. Anyway, so this pack is a pack that, like I said, I recently tried out, and it's Deuter's doing something where it's very customizable. You can obviously take off the brain. You can take off some of the straps. Fully loaded, it's 4.7 pounds. So it is on the heavier side. It's not like heavy duty, but pared down, you can get it down by a pound or so. All right.
Okay.
What's great about it is it's an adjustable one-size-fits-all pack. They make one for men, they make one for women, and they make like an air contact mesh for comfort, cushioning, ventilation. So they've got like kind of the latest technology in that regard. And this pack has all the pockets, clips, straps, and accessories that you've come to expect and love on mid-range packs like this without anything like weird or confusing. So I don't know how in tune you are with the latest packs, Derek, but there's some like new pack designs that are coming out, and we'll talk about this in upcoming weeks, where there's just like weird stuff that doesn't make any sense, like weird straps or weird just things that just don't go.
Like they're trying to do too much.
Yeah, or be more efficient, and it makes it more annoying. That makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so this doesn't do that. This is like talk about
Simple.
the KISS method, the keep it simple, stupid. Like this does it. It has everything that you want. What's great about this is it's a $230 pack, so it's on the cheaper side. It's not like a budget pack like you would say, but it's on the less expensive side for like one of those good quality packs that's going to last forever. So
nice.
I love it for their water quality, the organizational pockets, and the comfort. I think this is going to be best for an entry-level backpacker to like a mid-level backpacker who's looking for good quality, or somebody who typically does like lower to moderate mileage, or even as low as like Derek miles, like 2 miles a day.
That's funny. Colors. Do they have white for me? And do they have pink for you?
They don't have the pink and purple. Thank goodness. They had, let's see, they had like
thank goodness. Maybe the girls want the Deuter backpack.
Well, I was talking for they have female colors. But this is like from the men's perspective. They got the black, they got the blue, and they got the mustard yellow, that's probably the most controversial of the colors.
Oh, I'm getting that one.
Mustard
yellow. Yeah, why not? Okay. I'm never gonna lose it.
Why not? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. So check it out. We'll have a link in the show description if you're interested in checking it out, and that could be the pack for you.
That is the pack for me. We got trivia coming up, guys. Fly fishing trivia for Carl coming up next.
All right, what you got?
Okay.
Fly fishing trivia?
Yeah, we just talked to a fly fisherman. Let's see.
It makes sense. No, it totally makes sense. I just don't feel good.
You don't know. So this is life. Okay. I didn't know about grams, and you don't know about fly fishing. Here we go. Number one, which question? Okay, which of the following is the tippet on a fly rod setup? What's the tippet? Is it the handle of the reel? Is it the monofilament line that connects the leader to your fly? Is it the eyelet on the tip of your rod? Or is it the handle of the rod? So the handle of the reel, the handle of the rod, the monofilament that connects the line to your fly, or is it the eyelet on the tip of your rod?
Whatever that longest answer, I think it was letter B. I think I'm going to go with that one.
That is correct. The monofilament line that connects the leader to your fly. Yeah. Wow.
Sheer guess.
Wow. Googling quicker than I thought. All right.
Incorrect. No, it's what you do with like, typical multiple choice test is that if there's four answers and one's like particularly longer than the others, that's the one's usually right.
Oh, is that your strategy for SATs and stuff too?
Test taking strategy. Just like C is the most common answer. It's like along those lines.
What was your SAT score? 800
10.
something? Nice.
10.
Okay. You get more than that for your name, but okay. What is the best method of casting dry flies in a stream or river? Is it to cast them downstream, upstream, look for pools of water, or cast them into the wind?
I would say pools of water, but I don't know.
That is incorrect. It is upstream, Carl. You want to cast upstream, and then the dry fly will float by, and it looks like a dead bug, and then the fish kind of go for it.
Okay.
You're baiting them. Hence the word.
Thank you, expert. Go ahead.
You're luring them with your bait. Okay. Third question. What is the best type of knot to use to attach the fly line to the leader or like the pole? Is it the double hitch? Is it the FG knot? Is it the nail knot? Is it the Palomar knot? This is for the win here. You could lose. I'm scared.
Okay, out of curiosity, are these all real knots?
Yes, they are. And you can double check with Knowlton, who is an Eagle Scout.
Okay, and nobody knows who Knowlton is, and you keep on bringing him up on the show.
He's been on the show before.
Yeah, years ago.
Years ago. And the fans know
like
the
at
people.
least 3 years ago.
Are you doubting the knowledge and smartness of the Backpacking Blisters family right now? I apologize, family. Of course, you know who Knowlton is. He's one of our boys. He lives in Tibet. Okay, next. Is it double hitch?
I'm going to go with the letter A.
Double hitch. That is incorrect. It's the nail knot. You have failed trivia.
No way. Shocker.
I know. I cannot believe. Like, you give me ridiculous questions all the time, and I figure out how to get the right answer a majority of the time.
You're losing trivia this season. That is incorrect.
Well, that's because I made mistakes intentionally so that you could win something, because you already owe me a trivia from last year still. So I'm just trying to keep it balanced,
We'll do an update next week and see where we're at as things shake out here. So we recently put out an episode like the best gear for $1.
Yeah.
And Chris M from Texas, speaking of people that have been part of the BB family for a while, he checked in and he said, you guys should have mentioned scrap Tyvek for either a sitting pad, mat, or tent footprint, which is just free if you know where to look. So you like that one?
What about that? I like that one. What, Are we going to get some of that or what? You think we should get some of that?
Scrap Tyvek? I don't want it for footprint, but I'll take for the other items for sure.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I had to double check.
Good tip right there.
I like
it. Then, Elise from Utah chimed in with this on the same episode. She said that we missed a key item from the dollar store. She said, like getting those really small hand sanitizer bottles for $1. Great.
Oh, we've had conversations about that where you were.
We have, but we didn't mention on that episode. And that was a good
little
tidbit. That's why it's in the
I used to bring I think I bring like a 2 ouncer now, 1.5 ouncer.
Because you were upset.
Yeah, well, I got dirty hands, dirty friends. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you were mad that I didn't like share with you or anything back in the day.
Okay.
So
there was a time period where when hand sanitizer was coming out during COVID, where you couldn't even find those little bottles, and so everything was being sold in like the large bottle size. And I was upset that you had all these extra little bottles and you weren't willing to share. That was the issue.
Just because I found something special, you wanted to take it away and ruin it. And I said, nay, I will squirt it into your hand, but you cannot touch my bottle.
Okay. No, I don't want to borrow the bottle. I want, like you said, you had a bunch of extras and you weren't willing to just give me one. It's just like
I only brought one on the trip.
No, in general, like you said you had them at home, so like bring me an extra one for the next trip.
I had like 2 I got from the place.
Basically, you weren't good at sharing is what I'm accusing you of.
With you, correct.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all I got, my friend.
That's a good tidbit. Guys, thanks again. Hope you enjoyed Dave at Wet Fly Fishing. And check us out on all the social media handles. And we will see you next time. If you need to keep it stupid simple with your friends, sometimes those friends are just too stupid to keep it simple, like the one I got next to me right here. We'll see you next time.